My neighbor showed up at my door and said, "You're going on a date?" With who? Because it should be me. I'd lived next door to Callie Brooks for 3 years. 3 years of borrowed sugar, shared Wi-Fi passwords, and late-night conversations over the fence, while the rest of the neighborhood slept. 3 years of her laughing at my terrible jokes and me pretending not to notice how beautiful she looked in the morning when she came out to grab her mail in an oversized hoodie, hair messy, coffee in hand, completely unaware of how effortlessly she stopped my thoughts cold. 3 years and I still hadn't figured out that she was the one. Looking back now, I think part of me always knew. There's a certain kind of knowing that lives below the surface, quiet and patient, waiting for you to catch up to it. I wasn't ready, or maybe I was just scared. Or maybe, and this is the version Marcus always pushes, I was simply, profoundly, legendarily oblivious. Probably all three. My name is Ethan Calloway. I'm 26 years old. I work in IT support for a mid-sized tech firm in Charlotte, North Carolina, and according to my best friend Marcus Webb, I am the most oblivious man to ever walk the surface of the earth. He said it so many times it's practically a greeting at this point. I'd walk into a room and he'd look up from whatever he was doing and go, "There he is." Still oblivious. I never understood what he meant. Until the Saturday morning everything changed. It started, as so many disasters do, with good intentions and a dating app. My coworker Dana had been on my case for months. "Ethan, you're 26. You're not bad looking. You have a job and an apartment and you remember to shower. Do you know how rare that is? Just download the app." So finally, after weeks of her sliding her phone across the desk at me during lunch breaks, I gave in. I downloaded it. I made a profile. I uploaded 3 photos, one from Marcus's cookout last summer where I apparently looked, according to Dana, surprisingly attractive, one from a hiking trip, and one that was just me smiling in my kitchen that I almost didn't use because it felt too normal. Dana said it was the best one. "It makes you look approachable," she said, "like someone who won't disappear after the second date." I chose to take that as a compliment. Within a week, I matched with a woman named Jess. She was smart, funny, worked as a graphic designer, and had a smile in her profile picture that made her look like she genuinely enjoyed being alive. We talked for several days, real conversations, not just surface-level small talk, and eventually she asked if I wanted to meet for coffee that Sunday morning. I said yes, which meant I had a problem. I had absolutely no idea what to wear. This sounds like a small problem. It was not a small problem. My wardrobe was, to put it charitably, a catastrophe. It consisted primarily of IT conference t-shirts with company logos on them, about 7 nearly identical gray hoodies, a collection of jeans in varying states of wear, and one navy blazer I'd bought 3 years ago for a funeral and had not touched since. Nothing in my closet said I'm a put-together adult who is ready for a real relationship. Everything in my closet said I once forgot. I had a dentist appointment for 8 months. I stood in front of that open closet for a full 15 minutes on Saturday morning, staring into it like if I looked long enough something would reveal itself. It did not. Nothing revealed itself. The IT conference shirts stared back at me, unimpressed. That's when I thought of Callie. Callie Brooks had moved in next door 3 years ago, 2 weeks after I'd signed my own lease. I remember the day she arrived in a U-Haul, 2 girlfriends helping her carry boxes, and a very unhappy houseplant named Gerald that she'd carried personally, refusing to let anyone else touch it. I'd helped her get her couch through the front door, which required a level of spatial reasoning neither of us possessed, and we'd spent 40 minutes laughing at our own failure, before finally getting it in sideways. After that, we just kept talking. It was easy with Callie. Easier than it had ever been with anyone. She was sharp and warm at the same time, the kind of person who could make you feel both challenged and completely comfortable in the same conversation. She had opinions about everything: architecture, breakfast foods, the ethics of skipping to the last page of a novel, whether or not cilantro was a personality trait. She read more books than anyone I knew. She could also name every player on the Carolina Panthers roster and had strong feelings about offensive line strategy, which had completely blindsided me the first time it came up. She had style too. Real style. The kind that looked effortless but clearly wasn't. Thoughtful combinations, colors that worked, an eye for what fit and what didn't. She always looked put together without looking like she was trying too hard. It was quietly impressive. So standing there in front of my disaster closet, I did what made the most logical sense to me. I went next door and knocked. She opened the door, and my brain did that thing it occasionally did. Around Callie, just briefly stalled. Like a car in cold weather. She was wearing a green-ribbed top and a burgundy skirt. Her long brown hair falling in soft waves over her shoulders. A small silver necklace catching the light. She looked like she was heading somewhere. She looked honestly, like she always looked, which was to say effortlessly, quietly stunning in a way that I had somehow trained myself not to fully register. She smiled when she saw me. That easy, genuine smile that always made the air feel lighter. "Ethan, hey, what's going on?" "I need help," I said. "Fashion emergency. I have a date tomorrow and my closet is staging a protest against me." I figured you'd know what to do. Something moved across her face. Quick, almost imperceptible. A small shift in her expression. Like a shadow crossing a window on a sunny day. Gone before I could name it. Then the smile again, steady and warm. "Sure," she said. "Come on." We walked back to my apartment together. She went through my closet with the focused, slightly alarmed energy of someone doing triage at an accident scene. I sat on the edge of my bed and talked. About the app. About Jess, about how nervous I was about the whole thing. About how I hadn't been on a real date in almost a year and a half, and wasn't sure I remembered how to do it without embarrassing myself. Callie didn't say much. She pulled things out, examined them, put most of them back. She held up the funeral blazer. Looked at it for a long moment. Then hung it back without comment. She found a dark green Henley near the back that I'd forgotten I owned. Paired it with a clean pair of gray pants and laid them on the bed. "Wear this," she said. "It's simple. It fits you well. You'll look like you have things together, without looking like you're trying to impress anyone." "That's exactly the energy I was going for," I said. "I know." She said it quietly, still not quite looking at me. I picked up the Henley and turned to the mirror, holding it against my chest. "Callie, honestly, what do you think my problem is? Like with dating in general? Why does it always feel so difficult for me?" Silence. "Because I feel like I'm always doing something wrong," I continued. "Like I always miss something obvious. Marcus says I'm oblivious, but he never explains what he actually means by that. Which isn't helpful." "Ethan." Something in her tone made me stop. "Ethan, can I ask you something?" I turned around. She was standing very still in the center of my room. Arms crossed loosely over her chest, and the expression on her face was one I had never seen before. Not quite sadness, not quite frustration. Something older and more tired than either of those things. The look of someone who has been carrying something heavy for a very long time and has finally, quietly decided to set it down. "Are you blind?" she said, soft, almost gentle. I stared at her. "What? Are you actually blind?" She gestured, not dramatically. Just a small motion between us, at the space we'd been sharing for 3 years. "Because I've thought about this a lot and I genuinely cannot figure out any other explanation." My mouth went dry. "Callie, I love you." She said it the way you say something you've rehearsed so many times that the rehearsal falls away, and only the truth is left, clear, direct. No drama, no build-up, just the plain, unhidden fact of it offered with both hands. "I have been in love with you for a long time, and I know I never said it and that's on me, but Ethan, I have been right here, every single day, and you talk to me about everything. You come to me when things are hard. You make me laugh like nobody else does. And then you come to my door and ask me what to wear for a date with someone else." Her voice caught, just slightly. "I'm sorry," she said quickly. "I know that's not fair. You didn't know. But I need you to know now because I can't just keep handing you shirts and pretending I'm fine with it." She exhaled, looked at the floor. "Wear the Henley. She'll love it. I hope the date goes great. I mean that." She moved toward the door. "Callie." She kept walking. "Callie, stop, please." She stopped. Her back was still to me. Her hand rested on the doorframe, but she didn't leave. I stood in the middle of my bedroom, surrounded by 3 years of memories that were suddenly rearranging themselves into something I should have seen a long time ago. Every time she'd shown up at my door with food on a bad week, before I'd even told her it was a bad week. Every conversation that stretched past midnight without either of us noticing the time. The way she remembered small things, the name of my mom's dog, the coffee order I'd mentioned once and never repeated, the book I'd said I wanted to read 3 months ago that appeared on my doorstep on my birthday. I had called it friendship. I had been wrong. I didn't know, I said. The words felt completely inadequate. Callie, I genuinely truly did not know. I know you didn't. She laughed, a short, tearful sound that broke something open in my chest. That's kind of the whole problem. I crossed the room. She turned when she heard me coming, and she looked at me with those eyes that were trying very hard to stay steady and not quite managing it. And I thought about how much courage it had taken to say what she'd just said, how long she must have been holding it, how easy it would have been to just leave and never say any of it. I'm not going on that date, I said. Ethan, you don't have to do that. I don't want to go. I said it firmly, clearly, because I needed her to understand I wasn't doing this out of guilt or pity. I was doing it because something had clicked into place, solid and permanent, the way things feel when they're finally correct. Callie, you know me better than anyone. You have for years. I come to you first, about everything. Do you know how rare that is? Do you know how much that means? I reached up and gently tucked a strand of hair away from her face. She went very still. I think I've loved you for a long time. I just didn't recognize what I was feeling because I didn't think I deserved something that easy. Her breath came out shakily. That is the most Ethan thing you've ever said. I'm canceling the date. You don't have to. I already had my phone out. A short, honest, apologetic message to Jess. Something came up. I'm so sorry. I hope she finds exactly what she's looking for. Sent. I held the screen up so Callie could see it. She looked at it, then looked at me, then laughed, really laughed. The kind that had no more tears in it, just pure warm disbelieving relief. You're ridiculous, she said. You loved me anyway. She reached out and smoothed the collar of the Henley she'd laid on my bed, then pressed both palms flat against my chest. Yeah, she said quietly. I really, really do. I pulled her close and she let me, her head settling against my shoulder like it had always belonged there, like this was just the next thing, the natural continuation of everything. We'd already been to each other, just without the distance. We'd been pretending was necessary. Outside Charlotte's Saturday. Morning moved along without us, sprinklers, birdsong, a neighbor's, car backing out of a driveway. The whole ordinary, beautiful world doing what it always does, indifferent to the fact that inside this apartment, 2 people were finally standing exactly where they should have been all along. 3 years next door, 1 moment of honesty, and nothing was different. And everything was. The love you've been searching for is sometimes the love that's already been there. Patient and quiet, waiting for you to stop looking elsewhere and simply come home.